Okay, so we got a couple of interesting stories to talk about today, y'all. we There's a little bit of sad news, right? But we're also going to talk about some other very interesting and somewhat confusing news. Okay, so we're going to start off with this Brit Eady story. If you have not subscribed to the channel, y'all go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button. Go ahead and tap it. It's free. You know what I'm saying? It's free. Our friends over at the Jasmine brand, they posted this yesterday afternoon. I was actually going to cover it yesterday, but I was so engrossed in the Kelly and the Drew of it all that I really didn't have a chance to add this story in. So we're going to talk about it today. All right, Brit Eady says the Real Housewives of Atlanta drama with Kenya Moore went too far, fights Bravo's attempt to have her $20 million harassment suit dismissed. Okay. So, Bravo, I guess, would be attempting to have this whole thing squashed, right, in court. I'm one of those people that I'm going to be very frank with you. There were a lot of people who ended up finding themselves disliking Brit as a result of her original tension with Kenya Moore. I'm not one of those people. I didn't dislike her. I don't dislike her. I found her to be interesting and an interesting person on the show. And I think it's unfortunate that they both found themselves in this situation and we don't see either one of them. However, we do have K Michelle, so I'm not, I gotta be I gotta be thankful for certain things, right? Because I, for one, have been dying to have K Michelle back on my television screen. And as a housewife, no less, give it all to me, right? Baby, give it all to me. Ah, Shamari. So anyway, here's what's going on with that. All right. She's not backing down from this in real life and is pleading with the judge to let her lawsuit against Bravo and Truly Original move forward in full. So apparently last month, Bravo asked the court to throw out the $20 million lawsuit, citing several reasons the network should not be held liable for the incident with Kenya Moore. One being that Brit's contract warned her of provocative conduct or speech from other cast members. Provocative speech, provocative conduct from other cast members. I mean, I guess what Kenya did does fall under provocative. I mean, when you look up the definition of the word provocative, there are several forms of that definition. And I would definitely consider that provocative. Now, I don't know how the judge is going to look at that and which way is leaning, but in the court of public opinion, I would think that stretched the bounds of provocative, but it's in the contract. However, okay, in the court documents filed on April 20th and obtained by Document Tings, shout out Document Tings, y'all. Brit claims that what went down with Kenya wasn't just messy TV, it crossed a serious line. She says that Kenya showed a explicit image during filming that was falsely presented as her, and things only got worse when the producers allegedly pushed her to keep reliving the moment on camera. According to Brit, everyone on set immediately knew this situation was out of bounds, including producers who allegedly initially responded by suspending Kenya and launching an investigation. But instead of shutting it down completely, Brit claims the network flipped the situation into a storyline. She alleges producers pressured her to repeatedly talk about the incident and even her past intimate history on camera, including in front of her mother. Brit also claims her job was basically on the line, saying she was expected to return to work alongside Kenya if she wanted to stay on the show. Now, in her filing, she argues that this goes beyond reality TV drama and into harassment, discrimination, and retaliation, and says the network can't just brush it off as part of the show. I guess my thought is, at the end of the day, the investigation was launched. Kenya was removed from the show. and Brit did not have to therefore film with Kenya. So a part of that is it's removed immediately, right? Now, if I guess there may have if she's indicating that there was the threat of firing, but it would honestly make no sense if she did not speak about this incident unless see, here's the thing. That situation when it happened, it made it onto social media. If it had been during a girls' trip where this poster board had been revealed only in front of the cast, then there was a way that all of this could have been cut from the episodes. And they still could have technically cut all of this from the episodes, but it really wouldn't have told the true story of what actually happened between these two. And because there were so many other people there, everybody knew the day it happened that this had happened. So there was no ignoring this. And so for me, I feel like as a producer, it's an interesting space to be in because if we're gonna follow this reality, then we've got to follow what happened because the viewers are gonna expect to know that something happened. Unless, I mean, and they could have done this. Producers could have just simply said, as a result of an incident on camera, Kenya Moore ceased filming with the group. And they could have left it at that. They could have. They absolutely could have. In retrospect, they could have done that, even though everyone knew. But I would also wager to think that if it had happened behind closed doors on a cast trip while the girls were filming in seclusion, then this may have all turned out a little bit differently. And I'm just looking at the reality of how shows are filmed. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comment section down below. I know some people are a little bit confused because for quite a few people, they feel like if indeed the shots were not of her, then why is she upset? But I think as I look at the situation, if you are thinking that it was you for some reason, then you would now have to your mind is following through on this has happened and I'm being forced to talk about all of these things. What I will say also too is when you are filming a reality TV show, and I know this for myself, while they do have quite a bit of access to your life, there are also certain aspects that you at a certain point also have to stay firm on and say no. Okay? Absolutely not. There was something that I was asked to do on the show when I was filming, and I was asked to do it multiple times because it would have told a much um it would have told a story. It would have completed an arc about my story. And I knew that. But I also knew that I wasn't doing it. I wasn't comfortable with it. And I just said, "You know what? No." And even on the day of when we were filming a scene where it would have come up, I literally had to shut it down because at the end of the day, and you still have to have a say in what it is that is going on with what you are filming. And a lot of people don't necessarily know that when they're filming, right? In some instances, there are clauses in contracts. I'm going to let you guys know this now. I don't know if they still do this, but in some instances, and I'm not saying what contracts, but I'm just letting you know, sometimes it is stated in certain contracts that the only way that you can get out of filming is if you have an incident where you need to call the person who is dedicated to being like the psychologist, the counselor, or whatever it is for that particular show, right? That's how you can get out of filming something. Or at least it used to be. I don't know if it is now. But so I'm just gonna tell y'all, for y'all reality TV stars, when you get into a situation and you feel uncomfortable and you don't want to do something, then you need to exercise your rights, say no, or I'm having a psychological moment right now and I need help. Thank me later. Okay. But don't yell out bravo, 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 effing bravo, Denise Richards. Okay, I digression. One of the things that in general, I didn't mean to show that. My apologies. Because I know I typically don't show kids on my channel only because I don't have them. So we're gonna touch on this story with Kim Zolciak, and then we're gonna talk about the Kroy story. And you can go to the neighborhood talk for that story because they have the entire thing, and I want to reference them and make sure that they get the credit for being the source. I always try to put the sources for each of the stories in the description. So if you want to read more of these sources, these are the sources that I trust the most. And so I always use them, and they always pop up on my timeline. And I just feel like they do really also good reporting as well. So just to shout out some of them. Reality Rundown posted this yesterday as an exclusive. Lee Najjar, known to Real Housewives of Atlanta fans as Kim Zolciak's infamous Big Poppa, has reportedly passed away. Okay. Najjar was a wealthy real estate investor who gained notoriety during the early seasons of Real Housewives of Atlanta as the mysterious man funding Kim's lavish lifestyle, while still married to another woman at the time. So that was, and I feel like I don't watch Real Housewives of Rhode Island, but I do feel like they have kind of taken some of those scandalous elements, not really from taken, but just the circumstances, right? Are just kind of like, they have some interesting circumstances, kind of like when Kim came on the show as well. In this regard, I mean, we knew that she had a Big Poppa. We wondered who it was, and people knew his name was Lee. So I think some people knew who he was, and I would wager to think if you live in the Atlanta area, you probably knew who he was more than anybody else. But I always wondered what did the wife think about him being Big Poppa? Anyway, maybe she didn't mind because they're so rich that listen. I mean, maybe she is just like, you know what, girl, you go ahead and take him for when, because I'm going shopping with his money and he not leaving me. I don't know if that was the case or not. All I know is that unfortunately the man has passed. They said his off-camera presence became one of the show's most talked about storylines, symbolizing the luxury, secrecy, and scandal that defined early Housewives history. And that is what I was just talking about. It's like, and I think sometimes people forget that there are certain things that made the Real Housewives of Atlanta so fascinating, and Kim's storyline was definitely one of them. Her wigs, this mysterious Big Poppa, the cigs, the wine out of the red cup with the ice or whatever, however she used to do it. Wasn't she drinking and like I don't know. Let me not put that on the woman, but I'm just saying the woman had a very, very interesting lifestyle when we were first introduced to her. I mean, they all did. I mean, and Nene was just like the centerpiece of it all, like, just making it all pop and happen. And it was just a fascinating time. So, a comment says, wonder if she's in the will. Well, I mean, well, speaking of will, let's talk about what's going on with Kroy. Okay. So Kroy now wants permanent custody of the kids and claims Kim Zolciak is harmful to the children. According to TMZ, Kroy is now asking the judge to give him permanent full custody of their 4 minor children. In new court filings, he's accusing Kim of neglect and says her behavior is harmful to the kids and not in their best interest. Right now, the custody setup has them splitting the kids, with 2 staying with each parent and then rotating. But Kroy claims that arrangement hasn't been working, saying the children are rarely together as a full group. He's also alleging that Kim is unstable and unfit as a parent and says he has evidence to back it up. In his filing, Kroy reportedly argues that all 4 kids should be under one roof instead of going back and forth. This comes after Kim previously had her custody temporarily suspended until she completed court-ordered therapy sessions. Kroy says she finished those sessions, but he still believes the kids will be better off primarily with him. Meanwhile, Kim's legal team is shutting all of this down. Her lawyer says that Kroy's claims are not supported by facts and plans to fight it out in court instead of the media. I'm like, well, it's too late for that. Okay, it's too late for that. Here's what I will say about this situation. It's unfortunate when the kids become collateral. I don't want to say collateral damage, but they become collateral, and then they become collateral damage as a result of these divorces in so many ways, especially with these. And I can only imagine, right? I can only imagine the two people involved. And again, because I'm not a parent, I cannot say for certain who's in the right or who's in the wrong in this situation because I'm not in their household either. But what I can say about it is all of this stuff that comes out in the public, it really does do more harm than good at the end of the day when this stuff is like when well, and I guess at the end of the day, I mean, we're finding out about it via court documents. So because some of these things seem to find their way into the public, I mean, it's definitely difficult. So the best course of action would be for the two of them. It would behoove the two of them at this point in time to just find something that works and leave the animosity that that they have for each other someplace else other than, okay, other than the court. It should be at a certain point in time. All right, what's best for the kids, bro? What's best for the kids, sis? Like, can we just figure that out so we can actually figure out how we're going to move forward? Because I got to work, you got to work. And the reality is that Kim's work is going to take her all around the land. Okay, that's just what it is. And Kroy, you knew this when you got with her. You knew this. So there are things that you knew. And so now that you know what you knew, at a certain point, you guys both have to come together and figure out a way to make this work so that it does not affect the kids in a negative way. And they don't have to hear about this later, right? Because they're going to hear about these things, these allegations of unstable and unfit. And at the end of the day, do you think that they're going to like what they see and what they read that each one of you guys are saying about each other? And how will that make them now react when they have to get in relationships? Because they're going to end up seeing this stuff, however young they are right now or not, they are. So in a certain point in time, wrap this up, wrap this thing up, wrap it up. It's time. Wrap it up. Okay? Just wrap it up. Wrap it up. I don't know what y'all got to do in the court. I don't know what y'all got to do with the attorneys, but wrap this thing up. Figure it out, make a decision, stick with it, and be done with it. Okay? All right, y'all. So listen, that's all I got for y'all today. Yes. Lots of news going on in the world of housewives. For those of you guys who watch Beverly Hills, the reunion does come on tonight. I might actually just start tapping into the show right now. The season's just starting. I have problems. Okay. So with that being said, I will catch you guys in the next video.